You've packed your bags, your cruise documents are in hand, and you're ready to sail away. But think boarding a cruise ship is as simple as flashing your passport and stepping on board? Think again. In 2025, cruise lines have tightened rules, and passengers are getting denied boarding for reasons that shock even experienced travelers. From paperwork mistakes to medical oversights, security checks to last-minute policy changes, seniors are especially vulnerable to these hidden pitfalls. After speaking with cruise agents, port officials, and seasoned passengers, we uncovered 15 surprising reasons people actually got kicked off before the ship even sailed. Number 3 stunned me the most. Let's jump in. 1. Expired or damaged passports. It seems obvious, but you'd be surprised how many passengers show up with passports that are expired or will expire during the trip. In 2025, cruise lines enforce strict rules. Most destinations require passports valid for at least 6 months after travel. A bent or damaged passport can also be rejected by port security. Why? Immigration officials in foreign ports can deny entry, and cruise lines don't want the liability. One couple in Miami was denied boarding because their passport had water damage that made the photo page unreadable. They lost their $4,000 cruise fare on the spot. The fix? Check your passport's expiration date and condition months before sailing. Renew if it's within a year of expiring. Store it in a waterproof holder. Don't assume close enough will pass inspection. And if you think passports are strict, wait until you see what happens with visas. 2. Missing required visas. Many seniors assume a passport is enough. But in 2025, certain itineraries require visas, whether electronic or paper. And missing one can get you kicked off at the pier. Why? Cruise lines are fined heavily if passengers arrive at foreign ports without proper documentation. To avoid penalties, they simply deny boarding at check-in. One retiree booked a bucket list cruise to Brazil, but was refused at embarkation because she hadn't secured the required e-visa. Another passenger missed a once-in-a-lifetime trip to China for the same reason. The fix? Double-check visa requirements for every country on your itinerary, even if you don't plan to disembark. Use the cruise line's visa service or check official government websites. Don't leave it to chance. And if visas sound like a hassle, the next surprise involves health checks you didn't expect. 3. Failing health screenings. In 2025, health screenings are stricter than ever. Seniors who appear visibly ill or who fail a pre-boarding medical questionnaire can be denied boarding instantly. Cruise lines prioritize public health to avoid outbreaks. Why? Ships are closed environments, and one contagious passenger can jeopardize thousands. Fever, stomach issues, or even unreported mobility concerns can raise red flags. A couple from New Jersey said they were pulled aside when a screening nurse noticed the husband coughing. Despite negative COVID and flu tests, they were denied boarding out of caution. Another passenger admitted chest pain at check-in and was told she needed clearance from her doctor before cruising again. The fix? Be honest but strategic when filling out health forms. If you have a chronic condition, carry documentation from your physician, and if you're recovering from illness, wait until you're cleared. Think that's tough? The next reason people were kicked off involved nothing more than alcohol. 4. Sneaking alcohol or contraband. It seems like a harmless money-saving trick, slipping a few bottles of wine or liquor into your luggage. But in 2025, cruise lines use advanced scanners to detect hidden liquids. Get caught, and you risk more than just losing your booze. Some passengers have been denied boarding entirely. Why? Alcohol sales are a major revenue source. Cruise lines don't want passengers bypassing onboard bars. Contraband like cannabis or CBD products can also violate international laws, putting the cruise at risk. One retiree in Galveston was denied boarding when port security found vodka hidden in water bottles. Another lost her spot when customs dogs detected CBD gummies, banned in multiple ports. The fix? Follow the cruise line's alcohol policy. Many allow 1 or 2 sealed bottles of wine. Anything else? Buy it on board. Don't risk losing your whole vacation. And if alcohol seems obvious, wait until you hear about dress codes. 5. Ignoring dress codes at boarding. It might sound old-fashioned, but in 2025, some cruise lines enforce dress standards at embarkation. Passengers wearing offensive slogans, swimwear, or excessively revealing outfits have been denied boarding. Why? Cruise lines market themselves as family-friendly. Inappropriate clothing can create conflict before the trip even begins. Security has discretion to refuse entry if attire is deemed disruptive. One passenger in Miami Beach was stopped for a t-shirt with an offensive political slogan. Another was denied until she changed out of her bikini cover-up into proper attire. The fix? Treat boarding like airport security mixed with hotel check-in. Casual but respectful. Avoid controversial logos, political messages, or beachwear until you're on board. Pack a comfortable but appropriate outfit for embarkation day. And if dress codes surprise you, the next reason people were kicked off involved something as small as a snack. 6. Bringing prohibited food on board. Many seniors pack snacks for comfort. Fruit, sandwiches, or even homemade pies. But in 2025, cruise lines are stricter than ever about what food can be brought aboard. Fresh fruit, meat, and home-cooked meals are usually prohibited. Why? Customs laws and health codes forbid outside foods that could spread pests or spoil. Cruise lines also want passengers to dine in their restaurants instead of relying on home-packed meals. One Florida retiree was stunned when her carefully prepared turkey sandwiches were confiscated at the gangway, and she was told to repack or leave. Another passenger lost boarding after hiding a bag of fresh produce from home. The fix? Bring only sealed, pre-packaged snacks like protein bars or chips. Leave perishable foods behind. Check your cruise line's official list of approved items. Don't risk losing your spot over an apple. If food surprises you, wait until you hear about unpaid bills. Unpaid balances or hidden fees. It's not just customs that can stop you. Your cruise line itself can. In 2025, passengers with unpaid balances on their account, whether excursions, gratuities, or onboard credit cards, can be denied boarding. Why? Cruise lines treat unpaid fees like any other contract violation. They won't risk starting your voyage if you still owe them money. One retiree in Houston was shocked when she was told she couldn't board because her final payment hadn't processed, even though she thought autopay had covered it. Another family was denied after failing to prepay mandatory port taxes. The fix? Double-check your cruise account at least a week before sailing. Pay any balance, taxes, or service charges. Print a receipt or screenshot as proof. Think money issues are frustrating? The next reason is even more personal: behavior at the terminal. 8. Disruptive or aggressive behavior at check-in. Boarding a cruise can be stressful, but in 2025, losing your temper at staff can get you removed before the trip even begins. Cruise lines now have zero-tolerance policies for aggressive behavior. Why? Security prioritizes safety and harmony on board. If you shout at staff, refuse instructions, or appear intoxicated, you're considered a risk. One senior couple in Fort Lauderdale was denied boarding after yelling at port staff over baggage fees. Another passenger, who had too many pre-boarding drinks, was escorted away before even reaching the ship. The fix? Stay calm, even if things go wrong. If there's a dispute, ask politely to speak with a supervisor. Cruise lines keep detailed reports, and first impressions matter. If anger can cost you a trip, wait until you see what happens with missing paperwork. 9. Booking name mismatches. It sounds like a tiny mistake, but in 2025, passengers are still being denied boarding because the name on their booking doesn't exactly match their passport. Even a missing middle initial can stop you cold. Why? Cruise lines must provide passenger manifests to international ports. If your name doesn't match government-issued ID exactly, authorities won't clear you. One retiree in Miami had Bob on his cruise ticket but Robert on his passport. He was told he couldn't board without rebooking, at full last-minute price. Another senior missed her sailing because her married and maiden names weren't consistent across documents. The fix? Always book cruises using your legal name exactly as shown on your passport. Double-check spelling, initials, and suffixes. If you recently changed your name, carry official proof. This small detail has cost travelers thousands. And if name mix-ups are bad, the next surprise is even tougher: pregnancy restrictions. 10. Pregnancy restrictions. This one shocks many families. Pregnant passengers beyond a certain week, often 23 or 24 weeks, are not allowed to board. Even if you're traveling with a pregnant daughter or granddaughter, the rule applies strictly. Why? Cruise ships don't have advanced medical facilities for high-risk births. If a woman goes into labor at sea, it's a liability for the cruise line. One family in Miami was denied boarding when their daughter, at 26 weeks, showed up without medical clearance. Another traveler said her niece was turned away even with a doctor's note because the cruise policy was stricter. The fix? Always check pregnancy policies if traveling with family. Carry a doctor's certificate if close to the cutoff. For seniors, be aware, traveling companions can also affect your boarding status. If pregnancy restrictions surprise you, the next mistake involves something as small as a suitcase. 11. Oversized or restricted luggage. Packing big bags feels normal for long cruises, but in 2025, cruise lines are cracking down on oversized or overweight luggage. If your bags don't fit security scanners or exceed weight limits, you may be stopped at the terminal. Why? Large or oddly shaped bags can jam scanners or exceed ship storage safety standards. Items like hoverboards, power strips, or irons hidden inside also violate rules. One senior couple in Miami Beach had to leave their extra-large trunk behind because it wouldn't fit through the scanner. Another retiree was denied boarding when staff discovered a banned iron inside her suitcase. The fix? Follow your cruise line's baggage policy to the letter. Pack standard-size suitcases, avoid banned electronics, and keep valuables in a carry-on. If luggage rules sound tough, the next surprise is even harder. Criminal records. 12. Criminal records or legal issues. It doesn't happen often, but in 2025, some passengers are turned away at boarding because of past legal trouble. Cruise lines share data with port authorities, and certain offenses, especially drug or violence-related, can trigger denial. Why? Cruise lines are legally responsible for passenger safety. If your name appears on a watch list or unresolved legal case, they can block you. One passenger in Galveston was shocked when he was denied boarding due to an outstanding warrant for unpaid fines. Another senior was stopped because a decades-old conviction flagged during customs checks in Canada. The fix? If you have legal history, check entry requirements for every port. Resolve outstanding cases before traveling. For seniors, even minor issues can cause major disruptions. If legal trouble sounds rare, the next reason happens to many: arriving too late. 13. Arriving late to the pier. You'd think missing boarding time by a few minutes wouldn't matter, but in 2025, cruise lines enforce strict cutoff times. Seniors who arrive late, even by 15 minutes, can watch the ship sail without them. Why? Ships follow tight schedules. Customs and immigration close manifests hours before departure. Once closed, no exceptions are made. A retiree in New Orleans said traffic delayed her taxi, and despite pleading at the terminal gates, she was denied boarding. Another family missed their Mediterranean cruise because they underestimated port security wait times. The fix? Arrive at least 2 to 3 hours before embarkation. Book hotels near the pier if traveling from afar. Don't gamble with traffic or flights. If timing is critical, the next mistake is even stranger: bringing the wrong electronics. 14. Carrying banned electronics. Phones and tablets are fine, but in 2025, cruise lines prohibit certain electronics. Hot plates, extension cords, and high-powered appliances are banned. Even drones and walkie-talkies may be refused at some ports. Why? Fire safety is the main concern. Ships can't risk onboard electrical accidents. Security also blocks items that could interfere with navigation or communication. One retiree was denied boarding when security found a travel kettle in her luggage. Another lost his spot after trying to bring a drone on board in Barcelona, where they're restricted. The fix? Review your cruise line's banned item list. Stick to small chargers, approved power strips, and personal electronics only. If drones seem risky, the final reason is even more unexpected: unpaid medical clearance. 15. Unregistered mobility or service animals. Cruise lines in 2025 require passengers traveling with mobility devices or service animals to register them well in advance. Showing up without prior approval can get you denied at the pier. Why? Ships have limited accessible cabins, special storage needs for scooters, and strict international rules about service animals. Without advance notice, cruise lines may refuse boarding to avoid safety or compliance risks. A retiree in Galveston brought her new mobility scooter without informing the line. Another passenger with a service dog was denied in Barcelona after failing to provide vaccination paperwork weeks ahead. The fix? If you rely on wheelchairs, scooters, oxygen, or service animals, notify the cruise line at booking. Never last minute. Submit all required medical or vaccination forms. And if mobility rules are surprising, the bonus reason is even more shocking. Bonus tip: Getting bumped from an overbooked cruise. Yes, it happens. Just like airlines, cruise lines sometimes oversell cabins. In 2025, passengers, even seniors who booked months ahead, have shown up at the pier only to be told there's no room on board. Why? Overbooking protects cruise lines against last-minute cancellations. But if too many passengers actually show up, someone gets bumped. Often, it's those who booked through discount agencies or late in the process. One Florida retiree said she and her husband were denied boarding for a Caribbean cruise despite having tickets in hand. The line offered future cruise credit, but their long-planned vacation was ruined. Another family was downgraded to a smaller cabin at the last minute because their original was double booked. The fix: always book directly with the cruise line or through a trusted travel agent. Confirm your cabin assignment and check in online as early as possible. It doesn't guarantee protection, but it reduces your chances of being left behind. Cruising should be about relaxation, not rejection at the pier. Have you ever seen someone denied boarding or worried it might happen to you? Which of these reasons shocked you most? Share your story in the comments, and let's help fellow travelers sail smarter. Safe travels, and may your next cruise be smooth from dock to deck.